Welcome back to our exercise component of our transformation program in terms of how to perform exercises properly. Today we're going to talk about a hinge pattern. So what a hinge is essentially a bending pattern. So you're bending at the hips in order to lift a weight up or pick something up off the floor. Again, it's another one of our core movement patterns of all humans are meant to do, but this is one of the ones that a lot of people struggle with. So a lot of people tend to get back pain and things like that when doing a hinge. It's mainly because they lack the mobility in their hips, or they just neurologically they don't understand how to do the movement properly. So a couple things you don't want to do when doing a hinge is you don't want your knees to go too far forward. Okay, that is turning into more of a squat. So your just something you don't want to do is your knees going too far forward. Secondly is you don't want to be rounding our back here. Okay, so the main two things with the hinge, not rounding the back, not pushing our knees forward. Okay, so what we do want to look for when doing a hinge pattern is you want to try and push your hips back as far as you can. Now, as I do that, what do you notice in my knees? So unlike the red light and things you don't want to do and go forward, here you want to keep the knee bend pretty much the same to where your shin is vertical to the ceiling the whole time. So I'm driving my hips back, my shin is vertical to the ceiling. Okay, it's straight up and down. It's not forward, straight up and down. It's more of a hinge. Again, I'm loading my backside here. So number one, pushing your butt back. A little cue you can do is stand maybe about a foot away from the wall, push your butt back till you touch that wall. Okay, that's a good cue to kind of help you get used to that hinging pattern. Okay, we're trying to hinge from the hip, not bend at the waist. Okay, so second, keeping the shin vertical. And lastly is you want to keep a neutral spine. So we all have a slight curve in our lower back, or you should. Okay, one thing to help keep that slight curve so you're not rounding is to pull your shoulders back. Now, when we go to lift, like a deadlift, for instance, a lot of us will start to let that weight pull our arms forward. What I want you to try to do is pull your shoulders back, then squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then keep that position while doing the hinge. It will put more pressure in your upper and mid back and take some of that pressure off the low back, and that will force you into a better position with your spine. So I have a slight curve in my lower back, which is natural, okay? Keeping my shoulders pinched, and then not letting the weight pull me down. So when you're doing a hinge, especially a deadlift, you're not trying to reach the weight towards the ground. That's not the objective of the move. You're not doing anything with your arms, okay, in terms of with the weight. All you're doing is hinging at the hip. You just happen to be holding a weight while you're doing it. So shin is vertical, I'm pushing my butt back, and I'm drawing my shoulders back throughout the whole move. If you can practice that without weight, get used to the hinging pattern, pushing your hips back to touch the wall, you will master your hinge pattern and be able to progress from there. So that's it, guys. That's our hinge pattern. We look forward to seeing you on the next video.